Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really going deep, not just scratching the surface, on a gaming concept that, well, it might just change how we think about interactive stories.
Yeah, we've been looking at stuff from the Beyond the Pixels podcast. They seem pretty excited about this thing they call chrono waves.
Exactly. So our mission today is basically to pull apart what makes this idea tick, why it sounds so compelling, and maybe figure out what it could mean for, actual gamers.
Right. And what we're getting from their, let's say, enthusiasm is that chrono waves isn't your standard RPG, where the story just goes A to B. The big idea, the innovation, seems to be this dynamic world. It's not static. It actually it evolves in real time.
And that evolution isn't just tied to plot points.
Nope. That's the key. It's apparently woven into your decisions, how you play your play style, and even some kind of moral compass system tracking your actions in the game.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. This idea of a living, breathing world, we hear that phrase a lot in gaming, right? Usually means like detailed NPC schedules or something.
Sure.
But this sounds bigger. The sources suggest Chrono Waves aims for something, well, more fundamental, a world that really adapts based on what you, the player, actually do.
Precisely. They describe this starting point like a peaceful little town. Simple enough.
Right.
But then any choice you make there, big or small, apparently sends out these ripples through time.
Ripples through time. Okay.
And it's not just, a character saying something different later. These ripples supposedly have real tangible effects. They can change the game world itself, both how it is now in the present and how it might look down the line in the future you visit.
So it's like you're this constant, almost force shaping the timeline, even if you're trying to do good.
That's the impression. A good intention could spiral out, have these unforeseen consequences, making you constantly rethink what you did before.
So less a straight line of cause and effect, more like a messy web. You pull one thread over here and something totally unexpected happens way over there on the timeline.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. The Beyond the Pixels guys really hammered this real-time evolution point. It's not like pre-scripted changes waiting for you to hit Act 2. Instead, it's supposed to be this ongoing fluid thing, shaped by all your choices piling up, how you play aggressive, passive, whatever, and, well, the moral path you're carving out in the game.
Now, here's where it got really interesting for me. Time itself.
Yeah.
Not just the setting, but the main game mechanic.
Right.
They called it having a timeline in your hands. What does that actually mean when you're playing?
Well, the really fascinating bit is this reported ability to, deliberately shift between different times, past, present, future, within the game world.
Okay.
And the example they gave was pretty vivid. Imagine you save some character from, I don't know, a key event in the past.
Yeah.
It's not just that one person's fate that changes. It could trigger a massive butterfly effect, leading to huge shifts in, ecosystems, how cities are built, even who's in charge in the present or future timelines you explore later.
Whoa, so you could potentially tweak some tiny detail way back when, then jump forward and find completely different reality. That's a lot of consequence.
And it might go even deeper. The source hinted you might get glimpses of potential futures before they actually happen.
Like foresight?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Giving you, the player, this unique ability to maybe nudge the timeline towards, balance.
Yeah.
Or maybe you want chaos, depending on your goals. It really puts you in this position of, major temporal influence, playing God and destiny almost.
Okay, so a world constantly changing, time as this tool you can bend. The replayability must be off the charts. The podcast definitely pushed that angle. Sounds like every time you play, you could end up with a totally unique world.
Absolutely. It's like the game world itself becomes another character, evolving right alongside the NPCs in the story.
Right.
And that early game they described, in the small town, it seems designed to ease you into this. You start small, solve local problems, dig into history.
Standard RPG stuff, kind of.
Yeah. But then the time travel itself starts adding layers and layers of complexity onto that starting point you thought you knew.
So if I make a big change in the past, how does the game handle that? Am I just replaying the same early quest, but things look a bit different? Or does the actual structure change too? New paths opening up?
That's a key question, isn't it? The implication is that it does fundamentally change. But yeah, the mechanics themselves seem to bake time in too. They mentioned time-based combat. What does that even look like?
Sounds tricky.
What stands out there is the idea you're not just fighting tougher enemies. You might be up against foes who can also mess with time.
Oh, great.
Yeah, imagine fighting someone who can, rewind a few seconds to dodge your attack or see your next move coming. Wouldn't just be about quick reflexes then.
It'd be strategic, predicting their time tricks, using your own.
Exactly. Manipulating the timeline within the fight itself.
And then there was that co-op feature. Friends controlling different timelines, solving puzzles across time.
Yeah, that caught my eye too. It's a really cool concept. Imagine coordinating actions, like one person changes something in the past so the other person can get through a door in the future.
That requires some serious teamwork.
Totally. It moves beyond just having players in the same space. You'd be weaving different time threads together. It needs a whole new level of communication.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. The sources also talked a lot about the emotional side of things, not just the mechanics, but the actual weight of your choices across time, the morality.
Right, and this touches on something important about decisions in games generally. They
Mm.
gave that example. Maybe you save a village in the past. Seems good or right.
Uh-huh.
But doing that somehow, unintentionally, leads to a major city falling in the future. There's no easy right answer there.
Yeah, that's complex, not just good choice, bad choice.
Exactly. These are presented as complex ethical knots, far-reaching consequences you might not even see coming at first.
And the idea that the world remembers, that feels like it would make the whole thing much more personal. Your history in the game is your history, the one you actually built, flaws and all.
Precisely. Beyond the Pixels
Mm-hmm.
really stressed that Chrono Waves might not be about winning in the traditional sense.
Mm.
The focus shifts more to the journey itself,
Yeah.
right? The tapestry of consequences from your messing with time and the tough questions it forces you to ask about having that kind of power. It's meant to make you feel the weight of decisions more than most games do.
So the big question then, why did the Beyond the Pixels folks sound like Chrono Waves could be such a huge shift for gaming? They called it a potential future of storytelling. That's a bold claim.
Well, their core arguments seem to be about moving away from just experiencing a story someone else wrote,
Right, passively watching it unfold.
towards actively shaping the world and its history yourself. Through your choices, you're not just in the story, you're kind of a co-author. Your actions have real, lasting effects across time.
Player agency cranked up to 11, basically. It's not just picking dialogue, it's deciding who lives, who dies, what the future even looks like. That's
Yep.
a big shift in power between the game and the player.
Exactly. They used really strong words, calling it a living, breathing experience with lasting real-time consequences.
Yeah.
The implication is that playing Chrono Waves would feel more meaningful, more personal, because you are directly responsible for how its world turned out across all these different times.
Yeah.
It kind of redefines what being a gamer means, maybe. Moving beyond just playing a story,
Yeah.
living inside a history you helped create.
Okay, so let's try and wrap up this deep dive on Chrono Waves,
Yep.
based on what we heard from Beyond the Pixels. We've got this dynamic RPG, right? A world always evolving, shaped by you in real time.
Mhm.
Time isn't just scenery, it's the main tool. You jump between past, present, future, seeing the often unexpected fallout from your choices.
Yeah, the butterfly effect stuff.
Which leads to massive replayability because each run could create a totally different world.
Right, different challenges, different outcomes.
And maybe the most crucial part, it aims for real emotional impact. Your decisions matter, they have weight, and the game remembers them across the whole timeline.
That sums it up pretty well. The potential here, as they laid it out, it's pretty remarkable. It's not just time travel slapped on. It seems woven into the game's DNA, affecting everything from the world itself to combat, story, and, yeah, how invested you feel.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about choice. Not just in a game, but, if small decisions can ripple out like that in a virtual world, makes you wonder about the connections, the unseen consequences of our own actions.
And that leads to a good final thought, maybe, for everyone listening. If you had a game world that reacted like this, that remembered your choices so deeply, how would that change how you play? Would you be more careful, more experimental? Would you try to control the chaos or just embrace the ride of having that timeline in your hands? It's ever something interesting to